Today, what I wanted to talk about is, I guess, give you my take on the whole Russia-Ukraine ordeal. And to be honest, it's probably a pretty shitty take, to tell you the truth. You know, I don't really like talking about current events much on this channel. You know, there's so many people doing that it just doesn't really interest me. But you know, a lot of us, we've all been inundated with news regarding the war over there. And I've seen so many different opinions, so many different takes, I guess you could say. I guess that's the word for it, the word that everyone uses. My opinion on it is that I really don't have much of one at all. You know, I'm not going to be one of these guys that's I'm not going to be putting a Russian flag or a Ukrainian flag next to my handle on whatever social media apparatus. I'm not going to do that. I don't like either government. I definitely despise the Ukrainian government. You know, they're immensely corrupt, headed by a prime minister and a president of the you-know-who-ish extraction. Also, they represent, you know, this Western liberal democracy. But I don't like the Russian government either. You know, when I was younger, much younger, you know, during the Obama years, I would often say to myself, you know, Russia's got a much better leader than what we did during the Obama years. Basically any year, you know, but I mean, I was extremely naive back then. Extremely naive. You know, Putin, he is controlled by the same sort of oligarchs that control our leaders. And he's certainly not our guy. Absolutely not. You're naive to think so. A lot of people suffer under this illusion that, you know, oh, Russia's so based and everything. Yeah, that's not the case. They may not be as, you know, degenerate. They've not reached the levels of degeneracy over there that we have over here in America. But they're not that far behind us. There's gay clubs in Russia. They may not be having, you know, drag queen story hour yet, or gay pride parades, but you know, they're not that far behind. They're what, maybe 15, 20 years behind us. I'm sure in the future you'll see that shit over there. The shit, you know, it spreads like cancer. So I'm not for either government. You know, I've seen some of our guys say that the lake looks really nice today. Might have to do some fishing tomorrow. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about. Sorry about that. I've seen a lot of our guys saying online, you know, this is basically just Western liberal Zion versus, you know, the red Zion. You know, these or East you-know-who-ish interests versus Western you-know-who-ish interests. And, you know, I don't think this opinion is wrong. I don't think it's wrong. But I think it's wrong to, you know, just simply chalk it up to just that. You know, there's a lot of layers to this thing. A whole lot of layers. And, you know, it's going to be the common people, the common Ukrainian, and the common Russian fighter who's going to suffer. It isn't going to be the establishment. And, you know, a lot of people are rooting for Russia because they're taking on this Western liberal democracy. understand, I guess. But then I also understand, too, the common Ukrainian whose land is being invaded. Of course they should be defending themselves. Absolutely. Why not? I mean, if you have an intruder in your home, you want them out. I mean, even if it's a friend that's overstayed their welcome, you eventually want them to leave. Hell, even a family member, you know. And see, I think one thing that Putin pushes, from what I've heard in passing, you see, I haven't paid a lot of attention to this. I've just heard things in passing. I've not sat down and researched it. There is a person that I would recommend. I like their opinion because they are in that region. It's my friend Nord Lux. And I've seen him get into some heated arguments on Telegram with a few different people. But I'm willing to take his word over what's happening and his thoughts on it because he lives in the region. He lives in Bulgaria. You know, I even seen him and one of my other good friends, Goy Schmeckelstein. They were in my Telegram group. They got into a fairly heated argument about what's going on over there. I like both these guys. I don't like seeing them argue. But there was my friend Pat from Surviving by America. He had Nord Lux on the other day. Pretty good stream. I also think that Pat is going to have Didymus on his show because Didymus has been to that part of the world a couple of times. So, you know, I think Nord Lux, you know, some people will probably disagree with me on this. That's fine, you know, but I got to give him, you know, credit because he's in that region and he knows a lot about Eastern European affairs, I guess you could say. Myself, I don't know anything about it. That's why I said that this take, if you can even call it that, a take, is pretty shitty, is because I'm not an expert on this. I don't fucking know. And I'm not ashamed to say it. At least I'm going to be honest with you. If I don't know something, I'll just tell you, I don't know. And I'm not going to, you know, pull for either side. Because a lot of people think, you know, Russia's based, but I'm convinced, you know, that Putin, I mean, during his reign, you could say, I mean, he's not our guy in the least. He doesn't like caveman nationalism, which is what I would consider myself. Many of you would probably consider yourself the same. He's against that. And he isn't our guy. There's been a whole lot of mosques built in Russia. There's even this disgusting Russian tradition in the military, unfortunately. This hazing ritual involving, you know, sodomizing the new recruits. I can't think of the name. It's like Dostoevska, or I'll put it on the screen right now when I'm able to recall the correct name. I can't do that right now. But I'm not taking a side because I do not consider myself informed enough to formulate such an opinion. Now, the only thing that I guess I am sure of, you could say, in this whole mess, there's also a couple of things I'd like to mention too that I forgot to. First is, I have to thank my friend Hailstorm. She showed me an article that was released a few days ago regarding Ukrainian refugees, notably Ukrainian orphans between the ages of, I believe, 4 up to 15. There are two countries who are taking in these Ukrainian orphans. One being Poland, which, you know, shares a border with the Ukraine. That seems pretty natural. The other one, take a wild guess, is Israel, taking in these young Ukrainian children who have no family. Why are they shipping them to Israel? Well, I think you don't have to be any sort of rocket scientist to imagine what's going to become of these poor children. If you've seen any of the stuff I've done on the Dutroux affair, you know, the Mossad and basically any intelligence agency, but it seems like the Mossad especially are sort of involved in, you know, child trafficking, shit of that nature. You know, these wars, they all accomplish multiple objectives that the powers that be want. These children will probably disappear. It's awful. It was an article by SkyNews, of course. If I can remember, I'll put a link to it in the box below. The other little bit of news is unrelated, is that tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, me and my friend Pat from Surviving America are going to do a show, and we're going to talk about what's ailing Appalachia. I would much rather talk about a subject such as this than what this video is about, because this is something that I've seen with my own eyes, that I've experienced. You know, it's something that, you know, misinformation is not clouding my judgment on. I think y'all will like that. So, if you got time, stop in. You want up here, Loki? Come on, bub. Alright, bud. Anyways, to finish out this video, there is really only one thing that I'm absolutely certain of regarding this whole ordeal, is that there will be tons and tons of misinformation that will is being presented to us regarding this. And you know, I'm also certain that the powers that be will also release other information pertaining to other important things that will be lost in the news cycle. The only thing, like I said, I'm certain of is there will be a ton of misinformation presented to us, which is kind of why I've not looked too deeply into this whole mess. You know, I have no Slavic blood. I have no Eastern European ancestry. And you know, I can't help but view it as it's not our fight. Another thing is also, just from the bit of attention that I've paid to this mess, is that I think the mainstream media and such is conditioning us to accepting war, a state of war, or accepting us to, or coercing us, you know, to even want war. What are you barking at, bub? You want down? Down? It's probably the most entertaining thing that's going to happen in this video. Anyway, yeah, I believe we're being conditioned into accepting war, and that we are, a lot of people are falling for it, especially the masses, you know. That's the only two certainties I have. Will there be a war where the United States gets directly involved? I don't know. I'm not into making predictions. But I think it's possible, absolutely, you know, especially the way news and media outlets are presenting this. Is there anything else? If war was to come to pass, say things got bad enough and there was a draft, we all know who's going to be suffering for this. It's going to be people like us who will probably get drafted. And then you have to answer, would you go if you were drafted? Myself, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt I would go. Be a draft dodger. Because this Why would I want to die for Zog? Really, I've said it before, there's really only one good thing that I can see from joining the military, and it's learning a certain skill. I probably can't say what that skill is right now, but you can infer what I mean by this. Learning how to do a certain thing. But I mean, really, do you want to go die for Zog in order to learn such a thing? I don't. Anyways, I know this has been a pretty tepid take. I don't care though. All I'm going to say is don't get too distracted by this. Continue to better yourself. And get ready. That's really all you can do. Or you can be like this retard here, this Redditor, who went over to the Ukraine to fight. Just take note of his nickname that was given to him by the people training him. It's quite hilarious, really. Thank y'all for watching. Bye-bye.